Hi guys, and welcome back. My name is Sarah XxX and I'll be guiding you through your class here today. So today's class is yoga for achy backs. When I say achy backs, I don't mean anyone with a chronic condition or anyone with issues with their back as such. It's more aimed at, we sit all day at the desk, or we surf, or we're athletes, we do running. So it's more aimed at, I suppose, our everyday normal achy back. And essentially, the reason why I feel like this practice is quite important for achy backs with the everyday scenarios is because it leads to us not having long-term issues, which can become chronic pain or chronic problems. But also the back is just heavily linked to multiple things as well. So for example, even diaphragmatic breathing, it supports so many aspects of our body, but especially our function of our rib cage and our back. So if that is also essentially strong, our backs will be strong. So we'll do a bit of breathing within the diaphragm to begin with as well. But yeah, if we have less achy backs, we can lift better, we can feel better in our posture. So a couple of other things as well to note for achy backs. Walking's quite good if you didn't know. Stretching daily, breathing, your sitting posture, becoming consciously aware of that, lifting correctly, all those sorts of things. So it's just becoming aware of our habits. Sometimes I often notice when I do have a bad back, when my back does feel particularly more sore, just bringing awareness to the things that I'm doing sometimes can alleviate that. So yeah, we're going to start today on our backs. Feel free to have all the props. We're not going to be moving too fast or too crazy today, so you might like a blanket on the mat. You might like a bolster or a pillow and some blocks, and then come to find your way all the way down to your mat when you're ready. So you might like to start with the legs extended, but I am going to start this class with the feet wide and the knees knocking in towards one another. We're going to come to place the hands so that they're on the lower rib cage for some feedback here. And then give yourself a little gentle tuck of the chin in towards the chest, just to create some space through the neck. And then maybe you close down the eyes, or maybe you take a soft gaze here. Just connect to the body, connect to this moment. Allow yourself to drop into the presence. Allow your day or your week to remain outside of the room that you're currently in, and just exist here. Just be here for you. Notice the feet as they connect to the earth, and the hips, the shoulders, and the back of the head. And just bringing your awareness to these points. And then start to bring your awareness to your hands, to where they rest on the rib cage. Not forcing anything or changing anything with the breath at this point. Just notice the breath. Maybe notice the rib cage, the subtle movements that occur. Noticing the breath as it comes in and out. Is one longer than the other? Are there any pauses in between the breath at all? Does any part of the breath feel jagged or rushed? And then with your hands placed against the rib cage, slowly start to draw an inhale in through the nose, slowly and softly. But feeling the rib cage expand. And then on the exhale, slowly and softly exhaling, feel the rib cage draw inwards. So we're looking to breathe so that the ribs expand We're not looking to breathe into the stomach, so we're breathing into the diaphragm area here. So this is where the feedback on the hands, on the rib cage can be quite important. So we're going to take that again. So inhaling slow and deep. And then exhaling softly and slowly. So with breathe in through the diaphragm, you want it to be soft, you want it to be slow, you want it to be fluid. And just coming back to your natural breath for a moment. And we're going to take that again. So on the inhale, drawing everything in, feeling the rib cage expand forwards, sidewards, backwards. And then exhaling softly, slowly. Feeling everything draw inwards, the rib cage close off. Resume the natural breath. And we'll take that again. Nice deep inhale, soft and slowly in through the nose. And then soft and slowly exhale through the nose. Beautiful. Come to resume your natural rhythm, breath. And then very slowly open up the eyes if you've closed them down. Walk the feet so they're about hip width apart. And then take the hands, draw the knees in towards the chest, take the hands onto the shins. Give them a little squeeze towards the body. And then release the legs, drop them back down to the earth. The toes will touch the earth and then draw the knees back to the chest. We're just going to rock backwards and forwards here. So toes to the top of the mat and then knees in towards the chest. Taking that 2 more times. Taking the toes, tapping maybe the mat and then draw the knees back to the chest. 1 more time. Toes tap to the mat, knees draw to the chest. Beautiful. Give them a little squeeze back in towards the body again. Take the hands onto the front of each shin. And then start to send the knees away from you. Extend the arms long. And then draw the knees back towards you. Take that 2 more times. And then the next time they come forward, we're then going to take the knees to the outside edges of the mat. So we're taking some circles now. Draw the knees back in, and draw them out. And draw them in, and draw them out. Just circling out through the hips. And then going the other way. Moving with your breath and your pace. Maybe pausing anywhere that might feel good for you. And then come to find some stillness. Release the legs, plant the feet back onto the earth, and then bring the hands to the hip bones. On your next breath, we're going to tuck the tailbone under ever so slightly. So we're creating no space between the low back and the mat. Slight tuck of the chin towards the chest again. Create that space through the back of the neck. And then reverse the motion. We're going to send the tailbone down towards the earth, creating an arch through the low back. And then coming back, tucking the tailbone under, and then sending the tailbone forward. So we're doing our little pelvic tilts here. So just notice that yours might be microscopic. They might be small movements. You might move with the breath. It might literally be your breath that is moving the pelvis. Or it might be yourself that's moving it. And they might be small, they might be big. But work with what feels good for you. Work for a reasonable pace for you too. Maybe you pause at a certain point. Beautiful. And then come to find some stillness. Pause for a breath. Draw right knee in towards the chest. Interlace the hands around the front of the shin. Extend the left leg long. And just gently rock that knee in and out in towards the chest. And then maybe you're taking that knee in and out towards the side, in towards the center. So quite often when we can have low back pain, sometimes it can be the hips, the pelvis that can cause that pain as well. I know for me, whenever I've got a tight low back, it's usually because my hip flexors are quite tight. So it's quite good to release certain parts of the body as well. And then come to draw the left knee in, extend the right leg long. I'm just giving that knee a little pulse in towards the body, backwards and forwards, squeezing it to the chest and allowing it to soften back away. And then maybe you're doing the same on this side, maybe we're taking that knee in and out to the edge of the mat, back into the center. And just for a little bit more rotation through the hip. Beautiful. And then bring both feet back to plant down towards the earth. Send the right leg up towards the sky to flex the right toes towards the face. Take the right ankle over the top of the left knee, left thigh, and then gently with the right hand just push the right knee towards the front of the room. Come to cactus the arms or T the arms, whatever feels right for you, and then we'll take some rocks side to side here. You can either stay here, just rocking, or you can find stillness. So if you want a bit extra, next time you rock over towards the left, we're going to come all the way over, plant that right foot down towards the earth, maintaining the upper back down towards the mat. Beautiful. On your next breath, come back through center. There's no rush, take your time. Extend the right leg back up towards the sky and then draw it back down to meet the left foot. And then send the left foot up towards the sky. Flex the toes towards the face, then take that left ankle over the top of the right thigh. Gentle, very soft, loving push of the knee to the front of the room. And then release that hand back down to the earth. Start to take some rocks side to side. Either finding stillness, or once you rock over to the right again, going to plant that left foot down to the floor. Finding a twist in this figure 4 pose. Maintaining the upper back down to the mat. Breathing here. Beautiful. On your next breath, coming back through center. There's no rush to make your way there. And then unravel the legs. Take the feet so they're about hip width apart. And just pause here for a round of breath. On your next breath, come to tuck the tailbone under slightly. So you want to create that flat back to the mat. And then from here, I'm going to slightly lift the shoulders off of the mat. Bring the hands, the palms are facing down, but the hands are outside the edges of the hips. And then we're just going to pulse up ever so slightly. If you've got neck issues, maybe gaze up towards the ceiling, or you can gaze through the legs. Just pulsing up and down here, maintaining the low back to the mat. Beautiful. 3, 2, 1. Lower back down gently and slowly. Just pause for a breath here. I'm going to take that one more round. So tuck the tailbone under, keeping that flat back to the mat. Thinking about drawing the stomach in. So we're really engaging through that lower abdomen space. And then lift the shoulders, lift the hands beside the outside of the thighs, and then pulsing forward. So while we're here, just thinking about keeping everything engaged. Pushing down even into the floor with the feet. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Lowering down slowly and softly, and then pausing for a breath here. And just noticing those deeper muscles as they fire up. Beautiful. And then from where you are, bring the hands beside the hips, palms face down. Scoot the hips so they're a bit closer, or as close as you can get them comfortably to the heels. And then think about your feet. Really firm down the big toe, the little toe, and the heel of the foot. And then we're going to come to lift the hips up for bridge pose. Take the feet forward ever so slightly, and then come onto the heels of your feet. So we're lifting the toes off the floor, we're flexing the feet. And then here, you really want to think about avoiding overarching in the low back. So the engagement here, the activation is coming into the glutes. Beautiful. Breathing here. Taking one more round of breath. Not allowing the knees to knock out towards the side, bringing them into the midline. And then lower back down. Going to take that one more time. So on your next breath, maybe a slight tuck of the tailbone under first. And then lift the hips up. Feel that engagement into the glutes, into the hamstrings. Avoiding arching, overarching into the low back. Bring that awareness into that lower abdomen area. Pushing into the hands to help support you. Think about drawing the knees so that they're in line with the hips. Taking one more round of breath and then lowering down. Beautiful work, guys. And bringing the knees to touch. Knees are bent here. And we're just going to take some rotations side to side. So sending the knees over towards the right, knees over towards the left. Seeing some dynamic movements here, moving at your own pace, moving mindfully. And rocking side to side, knees to the left, knees to the right. Beautiful. One more round. And then when they come over to whatever side it is that you finish on, going to roll over to the side, place the hand down and make our way up. So we're coming over onto our stomachs now. Going to make our way into Sphinx pose. So from tabletop, maybe you're walking the knees back ever so slightly before lowering yourself all the way down. And bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders. Hands out ahead of us, so they're about shoulder width apart. If you do have low back pain, it's quite good to take the feet as wide as you can, giving them space. And you can always walk the hands a little bit further away from you also to create a bit more space. So we're just in this Sphinx pose. So pausing here, allowing the chest to come through, gaze up ever so slightly. And softening in here. And then from where you are, start to bring some awareness to the lower abdomen area again. Start to tuck the tailbone under, and as you do so, start to peel the stomach off of the mat, start to push into the elbows and dome through the upper back. We're going to do this piece by piece again. So then slowly lower down, lowering the chest, stomach, and the pelvis down towards the earth. Pushing into the elbows, driving into the shoulders, slight tuck of the tailbone under, slowly start to lift the stomach, just lifting the spine piece by piece, and then pushing the mat away from you with the elbows. Coming down piece by piece again, starting bit by bit, coming down with the pelvis, and the stomach, and then the chest coming through. Beautiful, and then pausing here. Lovely. Coming to cross the arms across one another, making a little pillow for your head. And then lower the forehead down. Come to bend the knees and maybe take some little windshield wipers or crisscrosses. Lovely. And when you're ready, you're going to push back up into tabletop. And then come into transition to downward facing dog when you're ready. So we're going to lift the hips up and back. And then when you've made your way into your downward facing dog, start to pedal out through the feet, just finding some length through the back of the legs, bending and extending one leg at a time. Maybe you're adding in some small little twists as well as you go. So that might be that the hips, one knee's coming across the other side of the body, and the hips are turning, the toes are turning. And just feeling into your down dog, into your spine, and then finding some stillness here. Nice generous bend in the knees to create some space for the back. Allow the gaze to come through the back of the legs to the back of the room. Beautiful. And taking a round of breath here. And then from where you are, slowly start to walk your hands to the back of the mat. Finding forward fold, so that can be elbows, bent knees, elbows to the thighs for a bit more space. Or maybe you've got the hands to blocks or hands to the earth that you're taking hold of, opposite elbows. Nice generous bend in the knees, create some space through the back of the legs. Allow the head and neck to hang heavy. Beautiful. Release the arms if you've taken hold of them, and then very slowly come up about halfway, just so the hands are hanging in mid-air. So we're in this ragdoll pose. Maybe you take some little sway side to side. And then from here we're going to lower back down, walk our way back out. So we're finding ourselves in downward facing dog. And then ripple your way into plank pose. Knees can be up or down. And then from here we're going to walk the hands back in again, finding that ragdoll pose. So coming up, allowing the hands to hang, the neck to hang, maybe you're swaying side to side. And then patting the hands back out, making your way back into down dog. And rippling your way forward into plank. Knees up or down. And then patting the hands all the way to the back of the mat again. Coming back up halfway for forward fold, ragdoll position. Maybe you're taking some sways. Maybe those sways this time are a little bit bigger. Beautiful. And then slowly, piece by piece, come up to rise gently and slowly, moving mindfully. And then when you've weighed your way up, bring the hands beside the body, palms face forward, Tadasana. Beautiful. And then sweep the hands up wide. And draw the hands through Heart Sun to come to bend and fold. Walk the hands back out. Lower the knees down towards the earth. From here, send the right leg back behind you and come to hover the leg in line with the hip or thereabouts. It can be a bit lower if needed. Maybe you tuck the left toes for stability. Send the left arm forward, left bicep frames the left ear. Really reach the fingertips to the front of the room, the heel to the back of the room. On your next breath, we're going to draw elbow to knee, curling everything in. If that doesn't work, you can bring hand to knee and then re-extend. Gaze comes forward. Take that 2 more times. Draw everything in, curling up like a bean, and then re-extend. 1 more time, drawing everything in. Coming to re-extend. Beautiful. Place the left hand down, right knee down. Tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, down dog. Bring the toes to touch. Send the right leg back behind you, 3-legged dog. Really find that length through the back of the leg. Flex through that right foot. Draw the right knee towards the chest and then step that foot through. Lower down the left knee and then slowly come up to rise. Draw the hands to heart center And then come to readjust the legs. We're looking for 90-90 here. So we're not lunging forward. We've got the right knee at 90, the left at 90. And then think about the shoulders being back. You can bring the hands to the hips maybe for feedback. And then we're going to come to bring our awareness into this glute, this left glute. And just thinking about engaging it, activating it here. And you should start to feel a bit of sensation along the front of the left hip flexor. Beautiful. And just pausing here for a breath. And then on your next breath, send the left arm up towards the ceiling. This right hand can come to the right hip. And then we're going to slowly start to bend over towards the right side. Finding a side stretch here on the left side of the body. Gaze can be forward or it can be up, or maybe even down. And come back through center. Find that activation if it's gone. Just notice once again that sensation in the front of the leg. Beautiful. Come to frame that right foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then step that foot back to meet the other. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pause for a breath here. Come to lower the knees down, finding tabletop. Send the left leg back behind you to hover. Bringing it in line with the hip or a little bit lower. And then extend the right arm, framing right ear with right bicep. Really reach the fingertips to the front of the room. Send the left heel to the back of the room. On your breath, drawing everything in, either elbow to knee or hand to knee, curling up, and then re-extending on the breath. Take that 2 more times, drawing everything in. Re-extending on the breath. 1 more round. Knee to elbow to knee or hand to knee. And then re-extend. Beautiful work, guys. Draw the hand down, knee down. Tuck the toes and the hips up and back, down dog. Toes to touch. And then draw the left foot back and up, 3-legged dog. Find the length through the back of the leg. Really thinking about that leg being straight and engaged. And draw the left knee in towards the chest. Step the foot through and lower that right knee down. Come up to rise, low lunge. Beautiful. Finding that 90-90. So we want the right knee underneath the right hip and the left knee underneath the left ankle. So once again, thinking about the glute. So really that activation that's coming through that right glute. You'll start to feel a sensation through the front of the right hip flexor when that glute is turned on. Breathing here. Sending that right hand up towards the sky, left hand to left hip. Start to lean over towards the left side. Finding that side body stretch on the right side. Taking your gaze where it feels comfortable for you. And then coming back through center. Release the hand. Beautiful. Come to frame the left foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then step the foot back. Lower the knees down. Send the hips towards the heels, forehead comes down. A variation of child's pose. Breathing here into the space. Beautiful work. Slowly start to walk the hands towards the body, come up to find a seat. So we're going to come to find our final pose of the day, of the practice should I say, not of the day, which is going to be fish pose. So if you've got a yoga bolster, fantastic. We're going to come and lay it horizontally across your mat. If like me, you've got a pillow, just fold the pillow in half so that it resembles a yoga bolster. So essentially you're going to want this to sit just below where the shoulder blade line starts, and then we're going to slowly recline onto it. have a block behind the back of the head for a little bit of extra support, if you want it, that is. Make all the adjustments to get yourself comfortable and get into the posture. So if you've got that block underneath the head, it's too high, you can bring it down to a lower setting, or if that's not working for you, you can always bring the head all the way down to the earth. Allow the arms to draw out towards the side, palms face up or down, and then just allow the legs to soften, the feet to maybe flop out to the edges of the mat. Maybe you close down the eyes or take a soft gaze. And we're going to be here for a few rounds of breath. Allowing the chest to open. And breathing into the space, connecting the breath to the body. Remembering the breath has restarted. Maybe even observing how difficult in back bends sometimes certain breath practices can be. The ribcage doesn't want to necessarily expand as much when we are in certain positions like fish pose. Beautiful, taking 3 more slow, prolonged exhale breaths here. There is no rush at all, take your time. If you're ready to come out, or when you're ready to come out, bending one leg first and then planting the foot on the earth and then bending the other. Drawing the knees towards one another and then taking the knees off either to the right or the left, whatever feels right for you, so that you can roll over to one side and remove any props from underneath the back. Just pausing for a round of breath on your chosen side. And then when you feel ready, there's no rush, pushing your way up to make a seat. And when you've made your way to your seat, draw the hands to heart center. Close down the eyes or take a soft gaze. And draw the chin in towards the chest, bowing to yourself for your practice here today. In gratitude to you for carving out this time and this space, and from my heart to yours. It was a true honor to guide you here. I hope that your back feels nice and open and lubricated, and I'd love to hear how you got on down in the comments. And if you're not subscribed already, please feel free to subscribe, so that you can be updated for any classes that I add weekly. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye.